The Rumson Garden Club grew out of a verdant, picturesque peninsula in New Jersey, embraced by the Navesink and Shrewsbury rivers. During that time, the area was known for its sprawling estates, built by wealthy, social New Yorkers who fled the city heat during summer months and settled along the river's shores. Rumson is a community that enjoys refreshing sea breezes, easy access to the ocean and its views, as well as a proximity to Sandy Hook. Originally settled in 1665, its natural temperate habitat is populated by birds, flowers, trees, shrubs, and of course, humans. From coastal gardens to woodland glades, the rich and varied plant life no doubt inspired the 8 founding members to form the Rumson Garden Club in 1914. Mrs. Howard S. Borden, Mrs. Carl F. Boker, Mrs. Hardin L. Crawford, Mrs. Charles D. Halsey, Mrs. George D. Hodgman, Mrs. Alfred H. Porter, and her daughters, Mrs. Nellie and Grace Porter. Mrs. J. Frederick Talcott was invited to join this group and served as the first president from 1914 till 1915. These 8 founders did not create the Rumson Garden Club out of a vacuum. There was an exciting movement growing in the nation among bright, concerned, and affluent women to appreciate, preserve, and learn about gardening and nature. They received inspiration from the suffragette movement and from President Theodore Roosevelt's creation of national parks, forests, and game preserves to protect over 200 million acres of America's natural landscape. In 1904, Mrs. J. Willis Martin founded the Garden Club of Philadelphia, the first of its kind, and in 1913 she and Mrs. Bayard Henry brought 12 clubs together to form the Garden Club of America. The original clubs agreed the GCA's mission was, quote, to stimulate the knowledge and love of gardening among amateurs, to share the advantages of association through conference and correspondence in this country and abroad, to aid in the protection of native plants and birds, and to encourage civic planting, unquote. With a similar mission, the Rumson Garden Club joined the GCA in 1916. Initially, it was a way for a few friends to gather and learn about garden design and horticulture. It was so well received that in the first 2 years of existence, it grew from 8 to 146 members, attracting women dedicated to gardening, not just from Rumson, but also from estates in neighboring towns. These gatherings featured lectures, horticultural exhibits, and excursions known as field days, which were visits to members and other renowned gardens near and far. The meetings were stylish affairs held at members' homes, and for decades, junior members were expected to set up and rearrange the furniture with no help from household staff. Blanche Tompkins remembers.
That's how I was familiar with the Garden Club, and I'd heard a lot about some of my elderly friends. I used to see them coming to the club at the country club. They were all dressed to the nines with gloves, and some of them with hats and jewelry, etc. And I'd say, "Where are you going?" They said, "We're going to the Garden Club." And I thought, well, this must be quite an organization. So from that day to this, I've been very grateful to be a member of the Rumson Garden Club.
Most early flower shows were held in Mrs. Howard S. Borden's barn overlooking the Navesink River. Painted wooden cases divided into simple, elegant niches were constructed to best display the plants, and white gloves and large hats were recommended attire. In addition, an annual rose show took place at Mrs. Edward Dean Adams' estate, Rohalion. Dotsie Scott has memories of her first meeting.
I joined the Garden Club in 1961 in my early 20s. And in those days, the meetings were held in people's homes. Most of them were on the Navesink River, and the houses were absolutely beautiful. But as part of our setup for the monthly classes, we had to move all of the furniture in and out. And we even did some vacuuming at the end of the day. And what was interesting about this was these homes were staffed with butlers, maids, gardeners, and many other people that could help. But the members did all the work, which we found very interesting.
The Rumson Garden Club hosted its first flower show in 1915. In what were designated exhibition classes, members displayed material from their cutting gardens and well-tended greenhouses. By 1921, display cases called for flowers arranged in bowls and baskets, and by 1934, there were 10 artistic classes, including a competition for the Mary Owen Borden Bowl, which was donated by her husband, Bertram Walker Borden. Ree Blaisdell never forgot the coveted prize.
And I joined the garden club in 1953 because my aunt was an old member of the club and was anxious to have me in. And of course I didn't know anything about it, but I learned in a hurry. But they were most delightful older people at that point, Mrs. Bodman and Jane Booker and Louise Burt and Jen Lawrence and let's see, the Helen Hurd, and they all had won these coveted awards in New York, and I really felt like a neophyte. And I think the most exciting thing, I'd only been in the club a year or two when I won the Borden Bowl, and that was so funny because it's a gorgeous Georgian bowl that they said I had to have it insured for $8,000, so that's over 50 years ago. Can you imagine what it's worth today? And we were going off on a trip and we were at the airport when I said, oh, that bowl is on the dining room table. Maybe someone will rob the house and steal it. So we had to call the home and get someone to go over and put it in the bank, and it stayed in the bank for that year.
Since then, talented members have exhibited regularly at monthly meetings, as well as larger prestigious shows. Members first entered the New York Flower Show in 1920, establishing precedents for award-winning designs. The Annie Burr Jennings Medal, awarded to a GCA club accumulating the greatest number of points in a major show, was won in 1948, and again at Autumn in the Atrium in 1978 and 1979. Over the years, club members have actively participated in the Philadelphia Flower Show, Bryant Park, New Jersey shows, and local house tours where they have won numerous awards. One of the club's most notable arrangers was Dorothy Vitor, who won the GCA Fenwick Medal in 1957 and chaired the International Flower Show several times. A GCA award was named in her honor, won in 2003 by Ibby Hertz and Pam Russo.
Well, we need it.
That's fixable.
No, I have to wait till they get.
I have one of those, and I keep on planning things since they sign and they don't make it. Why? Because come June, when all the trees are too